Welcome back from the break. Thank you for watching our Parliament. My name is Iguma Gabriel. If you'd like to communicate with us on Facebook or Twitter, our pages are showing on the screen. You can even send a message to the SMS number that you see on your screen. Before we went for a break, somebody, Honorable Bariomunsi, asked which government body actually discussed this issue of having Ugandan health workers go to Trinidad and Tobago? Ambassador.
Thank you for the question. The point is that, as I stated earlier, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is a link between the outside world and the country. That is all the MDAs as you know them. Now, for us, once we get a request, we send it down to the line ministries. So when we got this request, we consulted our friends in the Ministry of Health. We brought them on board. We had a committee, which still exists. When the applications came, when the shortlists were being done, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs was working hand in hand with the Ministry of Health and all the other, health organizations in the country. We have a committee for that.
Okay. Why is the Ministry of Health running away from this issue? In fact, we invited the Ministry of Health, and you can see their seat at the end is empty. They didn't come.
I wouldn't speak for them, but
you sit on a committee with them.
What I know is that they are aware of what is going on. Of course, we are not sending foreign service officers down there to be doctors. We are sending health workers. And Foreign Affairs as a ministry is not all that powerful as to direct other ministries on what to do. So we have consulted them. Every stage that we go through, including the time when we are going to have the interviews done, they will be on the pan.
Okay.
Because this is their area. For us, we are just conveyor belts. What we do is when the results are through, we send the list to Trinidad and Tobago. After all, the interviews are going to be done in such a way that there will be a team from Trinidad and Tobago working with the team from the Ministry of Health. Because I am a diplomat. Some of the terms my colleagues using, I can't even pronounce them. So how would I sit there and say, I think this doctor, this specialist is good enough to go down there?
Yes.
So to answer the question, we are working hand in hand with the Ministry of Health and the associated organizations that work with health.
Okay. Let's take questions from the audience. I have a gentleman in a blue T-shirt. Sir, your name, question or comment?
Chintu Edmond.
Yes.
From Kawempe.
Yes, Edmond.
I'm a board member with the Allied Health Council. I'll talk on behalf of my colleagues of Allied Health. That's
Health.
Yeah, guys with diplomas in clinical medicine and other units, plus the nurses. I'm supporting the idea.
You support the idea?
I support the idea on behalf of those guys of Allied Health and the nurses. Because we are having many people working in desperate positions because there are no jobs. Okay? So I'll put a question to Honorable Chris. Yeah. If you're saying this is not a good idea, okay, what have you done as government, because you're in parliament, what policies do you have in place that will curb the brain drainage in Uganda? Because we're having many people going for government sponsorships and scholarships, and at the end of the day, they don't have jobs. So I want to tell us what policies do you have in place. And for our friend Justinian, you said we 184 midwives. Okay, I have friends who are midwives, and right now they are selling tomatoes because there are no jobs in Uganda. And the government has a duty to look for employment for its people.
Okay.
You get it?
All right, thank you very much, Edmond. Let's hear from the panel. Let's start with Honorable Bariomunsi. You've had Edmond's...
Mr. Panelist, before he asked that question, he has actually preempted me. I had wanted to comment on a line that he has brought up. The role of Parliament. The role of Parliament in one, making laws, two, sensitizing the population because they have constituencies, parliamentarians have constituencies, and three, making sure, because in Parliament there are two sides. There is the government and the opposition, but they are all Ugandans. They all must conform to the national interest, which is the well-being of our people. What, before Foreign Affairs even went into this, what had Parliament done to make sure that some of the issues that gentleman raises had been put in place so that we don't end up with exportation, with people going undercover and others being...
All right, let's allow Honorable Baryobosi to respond to that question. Honorable Baryobosi, yeah, you may not have to answer the one on sensitizing the people, because our parliament as a program, we're actually sensitizing you. Now you know about this issue. Make sure that you ask your MP if he's representing your voice on this issue. Honorable Baryobosi.
You see, I hope the health workers out there don't misunderstand me. I wish them well. And I want them employed, and I want them to get better pay. My concern is for the government at the policy level to be involved. You refuse the word exportation, but you also used it. But sending our health workers outside. And I agree with you, the concerns you are raising. What the government should be doing is actually to interrogate the domestic policy to see that all our health workers can be employed locally here in Uganda. If you want to ask what Parliament has done, I'm sure you recall a few years back, about 2 years, when we had a protracted debate in Parliament to raise the pay of our medical doctors, particularly those who work in health center force, and we had to raise their salary to at least 2.5 million shillings. I was on the floor disagreeing with the Prime Minister of the country on this matter, and we succeeded. We've also been urging government to put more money to recruit health workers and particularly pay special allowances those health workers who work up country in those difficult to reach areas. I am personally writing a motion that I would be presenting as a private member's motion to address the issue of deployment of health workers, because one of the challenges we have now is the policy of decentralization, where the districts are failing to recruit health workers. Even those who advertise, those commissions which advertise the position of health workers, they want to recruit the doctors or health workers who hail from those local areas. And even when we have provisions for positions of medical officers, the districts are not recruiting these health workers. What I think should be done for positions like doctors and other senior cadres in the profession, that we should re-centralize recruitment of some of these. When I qualified as a medical officer, I was posted by the Ministry of Health to Bundibujo Hospital, and I went. And so I think we should re-centralize some of these positions like medical officers, so that when you complete university, the Ministry of Health and Public Service, they post you to all the hospitals, because currently most of the districts or some of the districts cannot attract these health workers. And you can be posted to these difficult areas, you work for 2 years, and then during our days, there were motivational kind of measures. For instance, they would ask you to work in Bundibujo or in Yumbe for 2 years, then you would qualify to come and do a master's degree. And medical officers used to rush. You would go to Kisoro, you work for 2 years. When you apply for a master's, government would pay for you. So some of these measures are no longer there, and they must be reintroduced.